ESPN confirms some WWE fans will have to pay extra for WrestlePalooza. They also say they have nothing to do with Brock Lesnar coming back. My review of AEW Dynamite and more. I'm Luke Onan, this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
It's WrestlePalooza / All Out Weekend in just a few days' time. We posted our predictions video for WrestlePalooza here yesterday, and tomorrow's WrestleTalk podcast will feature our full predictions for AEW All Out. So make sure you subscribe and check back and all that jazz to see when they go live, because we all know that YouTube aren't going to tell you. You alright?
Yeah, just trying to get a bit of your hair.
I mean, I haven't shaved my head as of late, but thanks for the assist. Peculiar. But WrestlePalooza isn't just the latest WWE PLE, it's the first in the new partnership with ESPN. When WWE announced they'd signed a multi-year deal with Netflix, many expected that WWE would just move everything to that streaming service once their deal with Peacock had ended. The thinking being that will just make sense because it will make it easy for fans. The problem with that idea is that you can't make more money that way. So instead, WWE have several fingers in several pies and announced that starting next year with WrestleMania 42, WWE PLEs would be part of ESPN's new DTC streaming platform. And then in a surprise announcement, that start date was moved forward to September 20th with WrestlePalooza, which will run against AEW's All Out and feature the returns of AJ Lee and Brock Lesnar. It was reported that WWE got out of their Peacock deal early so they could be on ESPN for the big launch. AEW have since moved All Out to the afternoon. The ESPN news was not met favorably with WWE fans. After paying $30 to $40 a month for traditional pay-per-views, WWE gave fans all pay-per-views for just $9.99 a month with the WWE Network. That price slightly increased depending on your plan when PLEs moved to Peacock, and the move to ESPN's DTC streaming service will see fans once again pay $30 a month to see PLEs. You see, after conditioning fans that you can get WWE content at a lower price, the increased cost rubbed some folks the wrong way. But the good news is, if you're already subscribed to ESPN, you won't have to pay anything extra for this new service. Champagne all round. However, Dave Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp and others reported that ESPN had not finalized all the deals with cable providers ahead of this new streaming service launch. Meltzer even noted this week that ESPN would need to get something in place quickly, otherwise fans will have to pay extra. And now, unfortunately, that is the case. Despite the tagline of the service being all of ESPN all in one place, SVP of DTC at ESPN, that's a lot of letters and a lot of nonsense, here comes some more, JT Lasker, told Awful Announcing during a media call that not everyone will have full access to this new service without paying an extra cost. Awful Announcing right, that means WWE fans who get ESPN through distributors like Comcast, YouTube TV, Cox, Sling TV, and others will need to, in essence, pay double for ESPN if they want to access WrestlePalooza. Awful Announcing notes that this is a combined 20 million subscribers. If you get ESPN through Charter, Verizon, and DirecTV, WrestlePalooza will be free within your subscription, so not really free because you're also subscribing and paying for it. They do note that this won't last forever and say that everyone will be able to get WWE PLEs included in their subscription with no extra cost by the end of the year. Awful Announcing add that this is the worst case scenario, as ESPN's deals with Google and Comcast expire next month, so something will have to be sorted out before then. They write ESPN's hasty rollout for its new app to align with football season, plus a WWE deal that came together much sooner than anticipated, is all coming to a head. The network was not ready to have app-exclusive live programming this quickly before it could finalize distribution deals with several key partners. The result? A large group of wrestling fans that are guaranteed to be angry come Saturday evening. It's not ideal, but ESPN is going forward anyway. The network will just have to hope WWE fans are willing to forgive and forget once the distribution deals are shored up and everyone can watch as intended. The other thing that some wrestling fans have been angry about is WWE bringing back Brock Lesnar at the end of SummerSlam despite being named in an active and ongoing lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE by Janelle Grant. Originally, Lesnar was not named in the Janelle Grant lawsuit, but was added and named outright in an amended version. Lesnar's return was met with criticism online, but it doesn't appear to have translated into WWE's ratings, ticket sales, sponsors, or the crowd reactions during the shows. During the media call ahead of WrestlePalooza, John Alba asked ESPN about Lesnar being on the show whilst being named in a lawsuit, and ESPN did their best to wash their hands of responsibility. They said that WWE maintains creative control over storylines and talent, and after some prompting clarified to Alba that they are not requesting certain talent appear on shows. And speaking of lawsuits, Brendan Tate, who along with his brother and Kevin Kelly have a lawsuit against All Elite Wrestling, has claimed that Tony Khan has pulled talent from an indie show, leading to it being cancelled. The Tates, better known as The Boys, were announced for an EEC show in Kentucky on September 28th against the Outrunners, but according to Brendan Tate on Facebook, AEW pulled the Outrunners from the show, and the promotion have now announced they've cancelled it altogether. It would have been The Boys' first match since being released by AEW in January 2024. The lawsuit against AEW has since been moved to arbitration. EEC posted this statement about cancelling the show due to no fault of their own, but rather the guidelines within their obligation to AEW. The Outrunners have been informed they will be unable to perform in their scheduled match. This situation, along with other prominent featured talent notifying us that they've double booked for this date, have left us to make this challenging decision. Now, I'm just a simple wrestling YouTube guy, not some fancy wrestling promoter, but if you book an AEW team against two guys that are suing AEW, what the did you think was going to happen? Tate called out Tony Khan in a Facebook post, and Josh Nason of F4 Online writes, it's unclear if Tate's comments could affect the aforementioned arbitration. Speaking of AEW, and it's Thursday, you know what that means. It's time for my review of AEW Dynamite, September to Remember. The 3-hour show, kicked off with Hangman Page, oh hi Santi, and Kyle Fletcher signing a contract for their title match at this weekend's All Out. Page has now added the stipulation that if Fletcher has any interference from Don Callis or a member of the Don Callis family, or he gets DQ'd, not only will he not win the world title, he'll be stripped of the TNT Championship. Now, this could sound like a cowardly act for a babyface to do, but it works for Hangman's character. He fully believes that Fletcher could be the leader of this company one day, but in order to do so, needs to be able to stand up on his own 2 feet. It's a challenge for Fletcher. If he loses, at least he lost with dignity. But if he wins, then he did it on his own, and he is as good as he claims to be. Fletcher promised to leave Page in a pool of his own blood this weekend. Sensing the word blood, Jon Moxley came out and beat Roderick Strong in a damn fine match with an assist from Wheeler Yuta, and MJF called out Tony Khan for sanctioning the Mark Briscoe match at All Out and asked for it to be removed. Khan stood his ground, and Max said that there will be another Briscoe in the ground this weekend. Bobby Lashley beats Hoa Leona in a match that was elevated by a very hot crowd that really wanted to see the Hurt Syndicate hurt people. They exploded for Bobby's comeback, and MVP and Shelton getting involved on the outside against Ricochet and Bishop Khan. They also exploded with heat for FTR as they cut a face-to-face promo with CNC Music Factory. Cash and Dax were great here, as were Cope and Christian, and they had a brawl afterwards that somehow saw Dax get a busted lip or something. The Young Bucks beat the Bang Bang Gang to qualify for the ladder tag title match at All Out in what was probably the match of the night. The Bucks are so damn good, and Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn were no slouches either. The story with the Bucks now is that they're spending all of their winnings from last week too fast, paying the production guy to give them an insane amount of pyro and giving Renee 10 grand just because. You know, I just said that match was match of the night, but we also got Mascara Dorada beating the Beast Mortars in a fabulous match to qualify for the 3-way at All Out. I love me some Beast Mortars, but Dorada was so good here that I was thrilled when he won. Kazuchika Okada came out and had a stare down with Konosuke Takeshita before Dorada wiped him out with a dive. 1 hour and 45 minutes into the episode, then we got our first women's segment of the night as Toni Storm came out for a promo. This started good, but got a bit goofy for my taste as Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander came out to share the spotlight and awkwardly use the the same microphone. Thankfully, Tekla came out in jeans and looked cool, and then had a badass street fight against Queen Aminata. These two kicked the absolute spit out of each other, and Tekla won with a stomp into some chairs. Aminata, of course, still basically kicked out of the three, continuing this really odd feud. Jet Speed beat Luchasaurus and Kip Sabian to qualify for the ladder match when the Big Dinosaur walked out on Dan Layton, and Big Bill cut a promo on Eddie Kingston ahead of their match this weekend. Yeah, you heard that right. Eddie Kingston is back this Saturday. Why does this not feel like a bigger deal? Riho beat Robin Renegade really rapidly, who then held onto her leg so Mercedes Moné could lay her out with a backstabber. Shout out to Wes for the rapid suggestion. Fightful Select write that Mercedes has pushed to work with the Renegade twins over the last year or so to the point of it nearly actually happening. And they add that AEW sources we spoke to said that all parties seemed keen on it happening, to the point the Renegades had similar gear made to Mercedes months ago. And the main event saw Josh Alexander and Hechicera of the Don Callis family qualify for the ladder match in a fine little bout. I was wondering why this match of all matches was the main event, but it all became clear when Paige told Top Flight to watch out for family interference. So it of course all led to a big schmoz with all the ladder guys running down, and it came down to the Don Callis family threatening to beat up Christopher Daniels before Hangman Page came out for the save. He wiped out Lance Archer and Rocky Romero and caught Fletcher as he went for a sneak attack. But Fletcher don't need no sneak attack, and he just blasted Page, then put him through a table on the outside with a brainbuster off the apron, the same move and spot he used to put Kenny Omega on the shelf. 3 hours is too long for a wrestling show, but there was enough variety to keep it interesting enough. The first 2 hours were better than the final one. This week's show was lesser than the last one I reviewed. It's time to get hyped for WrestlePalooza this weekend by watching the WrestleTalk podcast predictions for the show with myself and Ollie Davis. Click the video on screen right now to give that a little watch.